DiJonai, how come every time there's a foul, a questionable foul, a flagrant foul, a smack across the face, a fingernail in the eye?
The unrivaled league is buzzing with chaos this time. DJ Carrington puts a slap to Kate Martin's face in mid-game, a shocking act of foul that has left fans and players in utter disbelief. She can't get to Caitlin, so she chooses Kate.
What really happened here, man, with DiJonai. Okay. Nice pass. Oh, man. So you're going to help her up right after you clobber her like that, right? You're going to help her up after you clobber her like, didn't even look at her. Oh, she's so shady.
DJ Carrington is once again making headlines for all the wrong reasons, igniting discussions about her reputation for playing dangerously. This time, her target was none other than Kate Martin, who became the latest victim of Carrington's controversial. If she can't get to Caitlin, she'll just settle for Kate. As Martin moved past Carrington, the defender made what appeared to be an unnecessarily aggressive play. Instead of contesting the ball within the boundaries of fair play, Carrington threw a questionable arm toward Martin, making contact in a way that sent the Iowa standout crashing to the floor. The force of the foul left Martin visibly shaken, clutching her side, as officials immediately blew the whistle and rushed to assess the situation.
It's being reported that Kate Martin gets annoyed over Djonai Carrington's physical defense during Unrivaled. WNBA standout Kate Martin didn't seem to appreciate the physical defense Djonai Carrington played on her during Unrivaled League. And I'm telling y'all right now, we already know how she coming, bruh. She's very handsy with her style of play, and she's not the only one. It's a lot of ladies in this league that play like that.
Replay footage only confirmed the severity of the moment. The arm swing wasn't incidental. It appeared calculated, fueling allegations that Carrington had resorted to her old rough style of play to gain an edge. Martin, a player respected for her resilience and sportsmanship, was left crawled on the court needing assistance. To regain her footing, thankfully, she was able to continue playing after a brief assessment, but the impact of the moment lingered in CL.
She has hurt her nose again. I don't know if it's broken or not, but I think Kate's just toughness, resiliency, and leadership is the biggest thing. And I mean, you see it. Like, Kate's a pro player. Like, you see her game. She's hitting fadeaway jump shots. She's going at people.
If you have a track record of DJ Carrington, you would know for sure she has a reputation for DIR tactics. And yes, it took center stage again, sparking outrage after her latest on-court antics. Last season, DJ Carrington's dirty tactics came into play during a heated matchup against Caitlin Clark, a moment that remains one of the most talked about controversies in WNBA.
WNBA Twitter is currently crashing out over Black Eye Gate. I'm sure we've seen by now this play where Djonai Carrington pokes Caitlin Clark in the eye. And after seeing this angle, so many people are saying that it was intentional, right? Djonai goes up to steal the ball, and when she comes down, her hand goes like this, straight into Caitlin's eye. Do I think that this was a reckless play? Yes. Do I think that she did it with the intent to hurt Caitlin Clark? No. Do I think it should have been called a foul
or Carrington's infamous eye poke not only left Clark with a visible black eye, but also sparked a firestorm of criticism across the league. Fans and analysts condemned the blatant act, with Indiana Fever supporters leading the charge in labeling Carrington as a dirty player. For many, that incident wasn't just a lapse in judgment, but a defining moment that revealed her willingness to push boundaries. Now, with her recent clash against Kate Martin, those accusations feel more justified than ever, as Carrington seems determined to reinforce the very narrative she's been trying to escape.
It did not stop one Djonai Carrington. Of course, she's the person that multiple times had, egregious altercations with Caitlin Clark last year, including the eye poke, the eye gouge, the eye scoop out of Caitlin Clark's head, heard round the world last year, as well as whatever that ridiculous flop and gyration was during one of those games.
The game against Martin was heated from the start. The Iowa standout was relentless, her sharp movement and precision shooting proving too much for Carrington to handle. Martin seemed to be everywhere, cutting through defenses, creating plays, and keeping her composure under pressure. Carrington, struggling to contain her, eventually let her frustration get the better of her Instead of relying on skill or strategy, she made a reckless and dangerous play targeting Martin as she drove past her. Martin, who had been dominating Carrington, suddenly found herself crashing to the floor after a hard hit. Meanwhile, Carrington also aggressively attempted to slap the ball out of Martin's hands in what appeared to be a deliberate mind game. The move, which seemed more calculated to throw Martin off than to actually make a play, resulted in an obvious foul call against Carrington. It was another moment that reflected her increasingly erratic style of play when under pressure.
Here, as the camera pans over, she reaches in and swipes at the ball, but how hard are you going to do it exactly? You trying to break somebody's arm? Look at that. Look at that. Boom. You know, it's the small things that ain't great.
What made the incident even more glaring was the poise Martin displayed in contrast to Carrington's aggression. Martin, who has recently stepped into a larger role and been given more minutes, showed exactly why she's earned the trust of her coaches and teammates. While Carrington seemed desperate to rattle her opponent, Martin stayed composed, maintaining her focus and continuing to execute at a high level. Her ability to remain unfazed despite Carrington's antics only solidified the belief that Martin is rapidly becoming one of the league's most promising talents. I mean, what are we doing? We trying to break an arm now on top of it. I mean, this person just says it. It's almost assault. Good grief. That looked like break my arm, bro. Carrington's attempt to disrupt Martin wasn't just ineffective. It felt like an admission of frustration. All game, Martin had been showcasing her growing skill set, running plays with precision, making smart decisions, and hitting key shots when it mattered most. Despite Carrington's efforts, she couldn't keep Martin in check, and the foul only emphasized the gap in their performances. For fans watching, it was clear Carrington's actions reflected a player struggling to adjust to an opponent who was simply outplaying her. This isn't the first time Carrington has resorted to such tactics. Known for her fiery personality on the court, her approach often walks a fine line between competitive and reckless.
I mean, what are we doing? We trying to break an arm now on top of it? I mean, this person just says it. It's almost assault. Good grief. That looked like break my arm, bro.
Meanwhile, Martin's performance continues to speak for itself. Since being given more minutes, she has embraced the opportunity to showcase her abilities. Her basketball IQ, combined with her offensive versatility, has turned her into a player opponents can't ignore. Against Carrington, Martin's poise under pressure was evident as she refused to engage in the mind games and instead let her game do the talking. Carrington, who has never hidden her disdain for Clark despite everything the superstar has done to elevate the WNBA, has now directed her frustrations toward Martin, resorting to questionable tactics that have left fans and players alike raising their eyebrows. Carrington has repeatedly shown a lack of respect for Clark, even refusing to acknowledge her impact. Last season, she made headlines for her physical and aggressive play against Clark, and including a notorious incident where she poked Clark in the eye, leaving her with a black eye and sparking widespread backlash. Now it seems Carrington has shifted her attention to Martin, Clark's former teammate and close ally, in a move that feels both personal and calculated.
So there's probably not one individual player that has benefited more from Unrivaled than Kate Martin. Look, Kate Martin was somebody that came into the WNBA and nobody, and I mean nobody, thought she was going to make the Las Vegas Aces roster.
Meanwhile, Martin's rising star continues to shine, proving that she doesn't need to stoop to Carrington's level to make her mark. Her calm under pressure and ability to rise above the noise demonstrate why she's quickly becoming one of the most respected players in the league. As for Carrington, her continued refusal to respect the players who are driving the league forward, whether it's Clark or Martin, only adds to the growing frustration among fans. While players like Clark and Martin elevate the game, Carrington's tactics serve as a SDK contrast, leaving many to wonder if she's more interested in making headlines than contributing to the WNBA's growth.
Basketball. I played ball for a number of years when I was a teenager. Played on basketball teams. I coached basketball. I have watched thousands of NBA basketball games. I've watched probably a few hundred WNBA games in my lifetime. I've watched every single game that Caitlin Clark has played. I've watched hundreds and hundreds of women's college basketball games. I've watched high school basketball games. There is absolutely nothing that is natural about this motion of Djonai Carrington.
Lace's basketball team delivered the ultimate response to DJ Carrington's antics by securing a hard-fought victory over her team to miss despite Carrington's aggressive tactics throughout the game, including a particularly controversial moment where she tried to aggressively slap the ball out of Kate Martin's hands. The Laces held their ground and emerged victorious. For Kate Martin, the win was especially sweet after enduring Carrington's attempts to rattle her with unnecessary physicality and mind games. Martin maintained her composure and let her game do the talking. Her ability to stay focused under pressure was a key factor in the LA's triumph. Whether it was her sharp passing, clutch shooting, or ability to lead her team in crucial moments, Martin's performance was a testament to her skill and determination. Carrington's team, the Miss, struggled to find consistency, and her overly aggressive style seemed to backfire as it disrupted her own team's flow. While Carrington made several attempts to intimidate Martin, it was clear by the end of the game that the mind games didn't work. Instead, Martin thrived, using the extra motivation to fuel her performance and help push the Laces past the Miss in a decisive manner. The final moments of the game were particularly poetic, with the Laces in control and the clock winding down. Martin played a pivotal role in sealing the victory. Fans couldn't help but celebrate the moment, noting how Martin had managed to rise above the drama and come out on top. In case you're wondering, Kate Martin's team, the Laces, beat the hell out of the Miss last night. Even though the Misses Bonner, Stewart, Jewel Oil, and Dean Carrington on this team, DA, by the way, where were you 1 for 10 from the field to win, also carried symbolic weight, as it underscored the difference in approach between the two players. While Carrington leaned on physicality and questionable tactics, Martin relied on teamwork, discipline, and focus. The result was a clear victory for the Laces, both on the scoreboard and in the court of public opinion. For Carrington, the loss might serve as a wake-up call. Her relentless attempts to get under Martin's skin ultimately had no impact, and her team suffered for it. Meanwhile, Martin's resilience and leadership not only helped her team win, but also solidified her growing reputation as one of the league's most promising players. In the end, the LA's victory was more than just a game. It was a statement. Martin's ability to overcome Carrington's aggression and lead her team to victory showed that skill and composure will always prevail over tactics designed to disrupt and distract. As the Laces celebrated their win, Martin could savor the moment, knowing she had truly earned the last laugh. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. More videos are on screen now.
Now, if you hear what the reporter was saying, she was alluding to Djonai being upset because she felt she got fouled on the prior end. She got fouled on the end prior, so you know what? I'm going to come on the other end. I'm just going to